Okay.
He's just here for my moral support too. Let's go, dog.
And mine.
And mine. Exactly.
And my moral support, right? Both you are. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right, well, howdy. How are you?
Howdy. Good.
So, today, we're literally just drawing for probably like 15 minutes or so, or whenever you feel like you're done.
Okay.
Basically, first things first, you can start whenever.
Whenever I want?
Yep.
With whatever I want?
With whatever you want. What is art to you?
Ooh. Art is a movement. It's a motion. It's a way for me to journey. It is visual. Art is a medicine to me. Oh my gosh, that just came. As
Art is medicine?
Yes, art is a medicine. Art is a freedom. Art is a flow. If you're willing to dive in, it can really, you can enter the flow and it can really lead you in some pretty awesome paths.
Well, I definitely understand that. I understand that it's a healing thing because once I was pretty sick, and basically drawing has always just helped me get out of my head, just help me understand how I feel in the moment.
Yes.
And even if I don't know how I feel, just drawing something simple can literally help me understand what's going in my brain.
Yeah.
So why do you think people draw or people do art?
I believe somewhere in their conscious or subconscious or their body or their system, their brain, their heart, their soul, whatever, that they have a need to express themselves. And there's things inside wanting to come up that we don't even know. Like I just said, oh my gosh, art is a medicine. That was in me, not something I was thinking of, but something that came up.
Something that needs to be shown to you.
Yes.
But you gotta have to find it all by yourself.
Yes.
Which is can be sometimes frustrating, huh?
Or frightening.
Or frightening.
Yeah. If you don't have the ability to do that on your own and you don't even know it, what are you doing that will bring that up? You know?
Yeah.
Can I add color?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes the right shade of blue can literally just make you feel a different way.
Yes. Very much so.
One of my favorite things to do is basically layer the same color but a little bit darker to create like a different, like I can see it in some of your art where you literally do the same thing because it brings a texture, it brings a depth where you can just keep looking at the same thing, but the more you look at it, the more you start seeing and then you start noticing even more.
Yes.
It draws the eye.
Yes. And you know, I'll do like layer upon layer upon layer and it's very kind of, it was very liberating to me to learn how to let go of something that I loved and continue on and continue the layer, because then it became even better than it was before. And it was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe even to do something that you loved the looks of, and then to go ahead and even take a color that was more transparent and glaze over the whole thing with a nickel azel gold, and the way that it took all those incredible colors and pulled them together. I thought, that's so amazing, but it was so hard to do that the first few times because you were like, oh, you know, I've spent 5 months on this one already. What's it going to do to it? And as long as you were brave enough to try, it just really added so much dimension and pulled it together and did some amazing things.
So have you always just been like into art? Have you just all your life?
You know, I often kind of feel sad about this because I can remember when I was a little girl, I was constantly begging my mom for like salt and chalk so I could scratch off the chalk into the salt and make colored salt and then make like things inside a clear glass. I was always creative. I was always asking her for stuff out of the trash and tape and this and that because I wanted to make something out of it, you know? And so, yes, I think all my life I've been so creative, but no one ever really noticed that and encouraged me into something that would have to do with something creative or something visual, or, you know. And so I think of that today, and it kind of makes me sad, because I think I would have done things very differently.
If you had a little bit more support on the art that you wanted to create.
Yes, if someone would have noticed that and said, hey, you got some talent, why don't we put you in these kind of classes instead of this, or even where I went with I worked in healthcare for many, 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 many years. And then I left healthcare, did my own businesses. I love people, and then left that. When I moved here to Texas, I ended up subbing, doing substitute teaching, and someone said to me, you need to go get your certificate. And they had just started a alternative certificate program if you already had your bachelor's or master's degrees. And so I became a teacher. Love, love, love working with the kids and being a teacher, but I wish I was teaching them this.
Teaching them art. That's what, funny enough, as a kid, I've always wanted to be an art teacher. I've always found it interesting. I've always wanted to show people that creativity is just more than what people really understand.
Yes.
Like, it's in everything that we do.
Yes.
Even from understanding how a car works to
yes,
basically designing a whole building.
Yes.
That is all art, which is...
Yes, and listen to me, something that was revealed to me through all of this, and very early on, was revealed to me that there is no place that you can look that something has not been created. Either created way ahead of us, you know, by God, by the cosmos, by whatever, the heavens, whatever you want to call it, okay? And then everything else, we were created so that the rest could be created. There's nothing else you can see that hasn't been created then by us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Holy crud.
Where just...
That's huge.
Everything had to be perfectly placed.
Yes.
Just like a domino effect.
Yes.
Just how one thing could equal to the biggest possible thing.
Yes.
To create something amazing.
Yes. And the creation continues. Now, here's what I'll say about this. I think consumerism and all that kind of crud has taken it in a way that we may not really want to go, or that is really great for us. It's not for the purpose of always making money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so, not that I mind that, and I'd love to be able to do that more with my stuff. However, I am where I am here in East Texas. I'm in an area here that has a lot of poverty, drugs, alcohol, you name it, that interferes with how people can live their lives and what they can spend money on. And, you know, so I believe that what we do is so vastly important to create that healing and that journey that all people are, you know, all people need to do.
I see that a lot of people that get stuck in a place haven't really understood what they need to do or what they want to do. Just
to get unstuck.
To get unstuck. Sometimes to get unstuck, you have to do things that you really are scared of.
Yes.
But it's
okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Because honestly, the worst thing that could happen is death. And if you fail, you can just try it again.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. I love it.
So what are you seeing in your drawing?
I was just thinking about the fact that this is, I call it, and they refer to it as neurographic. And the stuff, it was interesting because the stuff we were just talking about has a lot to do with that. where in your neurology of your brain, you know, you can make new connections. You can change. You know, so many people are being told that they don't have a choice and they can't change their thought, and that it takes a drug or it takes a whatever. But to know that our brain has plasticity, and our brain has connections, and those connections can be changed.
I think it is healthy to just change your way of thinking sometimes.
Yes.
Because in order to create a new thought, you have to think differently.
Yes. You have to make a choice.
You have to make a choice.
Yeah.
A difficult choice,
yes.
or an easy choice.
Yes.
Or,
yes, but how many people, you know, do people even know that? They don't really, so many, I think, don't consciously know that. And I think that's what our job is.
And that's what truly an artist...
Is to share that.
Yeah, to try to connect to someone who is just looking at something, just trying to find something.
Yes.
And sometimes either the perfect color
yes.
or the perfect shape
yes.
can connect to someone.
Yes. Or, you know, I'm very visual, and I think that's good because I understand that you can talk to me about these things, but sometimes auditorily, I don't always catch the whole gist. Mm-hmm. But if it's combined visually and you just told me about, oh, do you mean that these neurodiversities or these neurographics, those things in our brains can change shape and actually, oh, this one can now come here and reach out to this one instead. And that I can actually change that thought. And maybe there's what it looks like. And I thought, oh, that's huge to be able to see that, to see what we're talking about auditorily. I love. And oh my gosh, you're right. And then look at the beautiful, you know, colors that we can add to it. And then maybe those colors take on not only dimension, but meaning, you know.
Is there a meaning that you want to show in like all your art, or is it you just do it until you find something?
It's yes. Most of it is do it until you find something. The meaning then comes out to myself or to others that gaze upon it, or we visit about it. And so it's very intuitive as I start. I may have questions or like there's one in my studio over there that's called Remothering. And I didn't have a really great relationship with my mom as we went through our lives. And although she lived with me up until she died at the age of 94. And I had started to sit down one day and write about that on this canvas that I had just started. And I said, you know, I can remember when I was a little girl, my mom and dad used to love to dance, and they'd go out and dance, and I'd love to sit and watch them. And I wrote on there, my mother used to love to dance. Why didn't she want to dance with me? And I was inquiring. It's just things that are on my mind or my heart or my soul as I'm going, and so I wrote that on there. And you know, the story of that painting is just unbelievable. And my daughter was over one day, she's also very creative and very instinctual and stuff, and she said, get up against that canvas. And she drew around me, and then I ended up some painting stuff came out with that. And then one day we were all here, and my grandson, who was 2 at the time, and he had seen me for several months work on that painting, and all of a sudden he ran up to that painting like this. His face was towards the canvas, but he was like this on the canvas. And I said, oh my God, Sarah, take a marker and draw around him. And she grabbed a marker, and we said, stay, Ronan, stay. You know, keep your hands up by Grammy there, because he knew that was Grammy. And she drew around him, and then later on, as I began to paint on that, later on, it dawned on me, I get chill bumps thinking about this, that it's like, look, Katie, it's not about other people loving you or wanting to dance with you or wanting to whatever. That picture represented him as the child within me. Mm-hmm. And that I needed to just want to dance with myself and want to just be with the child within and do whatever the child wanted to do, you know? And I thought, that totally swung from it being about my mother to not being about my mother at all. It was about me dancing with the child within, me letting go, me being more free. And I thought, holy cow, you know?
It comes full circle.
Comes full circle. So that is, I just get such chill bumps with the experiences I've had with
all your art, with all the stories that you want to tell.
Yeah.
From the simple to the real complicated.
Yes, complex. And it's really freed me. It has changed me and freed me so much. It's amazing. And that's what I wanted to do for others. Because I think, and it continues to free me.
Yeah.
It'll never not free me more. Because I will not ever stop this journey with the art. I just won't. I can't.
That's the big thing that I want to do, is to show everybody that there's art in everything.
Yes.
And it's basically everybody just has to find what they want to do.
Yes.
And go for it.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Even then, like, it might be weird to think, but science and art are very hand to hand. Because in order to think creatively, you have to think critically. Because you're understanding the way everything works.
Well, and listen, I would say to you, I'm a great critical thinker too, but I want to think less critically and more onto the creatively, because I think that, you know, you're talking about the brain now, mm-hmm. and it's so huge. I think you know, they'll say, oh, which part of your brain do you use, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've always taken those things, and I can always use both parts of my brain. But I think everybody has that capability. It's just that they've never been exposed to that, you know? So I think, what you're talking about now, too, is balance, okay?
Yeah.
Now, balance, to me, too, is the key. But not... Again, we think we control things. We have choices. But what we do is I think we're too asleep sometimes. And we need to be awakened to the point where we hear our intuitions, see our intuitions, because there's something deep inside that makes that or draws that, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes we're so asleep or so involved with the busyness of or the unbalance, the distractions of life.
You kind of just forget to stop and think. And or just stop and not think.
Just stop and not think.
Exactly.
Stop and not think. That's perfect.
Where you just look around you and just feel the air.
Feel. Stop and not think, but feel.
Yeah.
You know?
It's important.
It's huge. It is very huge. Yes.
So how do you know when you're, like, done with a canvas?
Oh, gosh. People ask me that all the time. It's from deep down within. And you simply know. And I can know when... it's interesting because where I have Studio A and Studio B in there, where I create stuff, okay? And I'll sit in my chair in there and let something hang, and I'll look over at that. I've created a board. It's another pegboard that opens on a shelf I have, and I love creating vertically there. And then I love to go back and sit in my chair and relax. And I'll just kind of, one day I'll look over and I'll think, I'll see something else. Or something else comes to my spirit. And so I begin to do something more. So I can look over and it's like a feeling inside. I feel that it's not done. Or all of a sudden I'll do something and I roll back and look at it and I think, that's done. That's it. No more. So it's just a knowing. It's nothing specific, just a knowing inside.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And when it comes to my paintings,
yeah,
I usually, it's either I get it done immediately because I need to express exactly how I feel at that exact moment.
Yes.
And other times I leave it sitting for years and then I come back and just finish it.
Yeah.
Where I kind of go full circle. I'm like, I'm done with this moment. I'm gonna move on.
Yeah. I get that because some are quick and some are not, and some you have to step away from and go to something else. And you know, it's interesting, that girlfriend I told you about, that was the one that really, I saw her art and that motivated me. I kept thinking, I think I could do that. And she layered. I love the layers. There's something about the layers, and for me. And I'm very, and maybe that's a representation of me, you know? But that girl, I said to her one time, she doesn't do realism, but she has a great talent for pretty close to realism when it comes to some of the things in her paintings. And one day I said to her, Mandy, I said, man, I love the, I wish I could do realism like you do realism. She looked at me and she said, but you know what? She said, nobody can do fantasy like you do. And I was like, oh.
That's another really good point of view, where even though you think your art might not be good, it is genuinely really good because no one else can think like you.
Yes.
Except you.
Yes.
And that's why whenever you create your own feeling, your own vision, your own world.
Yes.
Because that is all you. No one else can copy you.
Yes.
They can try to basically copy the thing that you just did.
Right.
All they want. But in the end, they would never be able to create something that is clearly you.
Yeah. That's huge.
And in that, what do you think about the AI art, the computer art?
I do not like that. It freaks me out. I'm like, not even just the art, but even what they're speaking or saying, the voices. I'm like, that is dangerous. That is manipulative. That is controlling. I do not like that. It's not coming from a human existence. I don't. And I know it was created, but it just, I don't know, man.
Definitely something that has to be precisely used for
good.
For good.
Because that could
absolutely destroy a lot of creative aspects.
Yes.
But at the same time,
it could destroy so much more than just creative aspects.
But at the same time, I could see it, but at the same time, if just done right and done for good intention, they could literally change the way we all do things and have a more broader perspective of creating something that we want to show. So, for example, it's basically in like the video game scene, you can create a new world using the AI art by using your own art to create an algorithm that can sense how you draw. But it's very, very
But it
tricky.
really wouldn't be me.
It wouldn't be you, but it would gain an aspect. Mm-hmm. But that's why I still think just canvas, just drawing is the most important thing that can be done.
Yeah. And you know, let me say this too, because I'm coming from a teaching standpoint, and I teach pre-K through 5 special education. Mm-hmm. Okay, and the thing, our children are being, and listen, I love technology. I enjoy using technology. I can't keep up with it anymore because it's just moving too fast. But our children are being very negatively affected by not being able to speak to people and socialize with people. And I see such a change happening every 5 years. And there's even children now that they're struggling to speak correctly because they're watching so much animation, and young children and babies learn how to speak by watching other people's mouths. And so my daughter is a speech pathologist at the school, and her caseload has just flown huge. And they're like, why? Well, all of that is being affected by too much of the animation, too much of and a lot of the parents are on phones all the time instead of visiting with the kids during dinner or whatever. They're all, watching and just things. And I mean, I've seen it in our relationship. We have to choose to put that phone down or that technology down and do what used to be done. What we're doing, we're sitting around a table having a great time,
Yeah.
Not enough of that occurs anymore. And I think it's affecting the children.
And definitely affecting just the way we communicate with each other.
Yes.
It's bringing just a lack of sense of that there's other people like you.
Yes.
So it's just really hard to just want to show or talk to others.
Yes.
Just human to human.
Yes.
And that's what I see the biggest disconnect in what's happening all over.
Yes. And that's another reason that, listen, I don't want to do this. I've done a lot of it via Zoom, but I've kind of put that aside. I let my Zoom account go. Because I don't want to do it with other people via Zoom. Mm-hmm. You know what? I want to have people around this table, and have that social networking via the art, because isn't it a great way to share and to have some social networking too?
Yeah. Because you also get a sense of like you're with a person that you guys do get along.
Yes.
And so the people that they know, you're going to get along just fine.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what's real hard with, definitely not being in the same room.
Right.
Where like, I trust you, but I don't know.
Right. We don't, who is that person really, you know? That's pretty cool. That's why I was like, please, yes, bring them over. Because I love that.
Yeah.
How much richer has it been that the three of us are sitting across the table from each other than if we were on a screen? How much richer?
Yeah.
To
just go out and talk to someone. Even if you don't know.
Yes, exactly. And I love that.
But the thing is, also a big thing is, you kind of have to accept the people that want to talk to you.
Yes.
You don't just.
I don't have to have any. Yeah, I don't have to have any perceived. I just enjoy being with them and getting to know who they are as people.
They might have difference of opinions, but
yes,
that's basically everybody.
That's right.
So.
That's right. I agree. It's awesome.
Nice.
Nice is right.
How you feeling about your drawing right now?
Loving it.
Yeah,
I like the connections.
Yes. I haven't drawn in basically a good. Well, no, I've drawn a good few hours probably this month, but I've kind of slowed down just because.
Because why? Tell me why.
I kind of hit a creative roadblock because life got real hard real quick.
Okay.
So that affected kind of all my mindset and just wanting to set time aside to draw.
Sure.
Because it gets hard when life gets complicated.
Sure it does.
But you gotta still do it. I still do it because it's basically helps me breathe.
Amen.
Drawing just...
It allows you to enter the flow.
Yep.
where you need to be to sometimes ponder some things or ask some things. You know, so I encourage you as you draw to also be willing to write. That was another thing that I had never done in my life, was written or words, journaled, whatever. But I always tell my friends and clients and things, look, make sure you have a piece that you can write with too, because if you're drawing and you're in that flow and all of a sudden something came up, I'd love to be able to remember that, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes those dumb ideas are really amazing.
Amazing, yes.
They may be dumb for you at the moment. You're like, why did I think about that?
Yes, right?
How did I come up with that?
Right.
And then you tell someone, and someone would be like, oh, that's amazing.
Right.
Where'd you get that from? I'm like, I don't know.
It just came up.
It just came up. I was just thinking, and that happened.
Yep. I always have music on when I create too. I love that.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
So who are some of your favorite artists? That it can be like music artists or...
Oh gosh. I love anything 70s. Plus I love there's this one group that I listen to. It's I'll say, hey Google, play Lake Street Dive, and then it'll play their music and others. I love Bob Dylan. I love gosh. And you know, as far as I started to read about different artists too when I started to paint. And I love Van Gogh. I love all the impressional ones like Matisse and Van Gogh and all those guys of that time where they were trying to break out of, and nobody, I mean all the artists look at them like, ugh, you know. Mm-hmm. But they were really, I think, in a representational time of art that was really cool, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that.
One of my favorite artists is Basquiat. He did basically what you did, just started something and just kept going until he was like, I'm done. When all of his work is just really crazy and just different. Like, it is profound. Like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
To just look at and just be like, someone took the time to make that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because the lines come out nowhere. Mm-hmm. That's the pretty thing about just drawing and just going with the flow.
Right.
Not knowing where you're going to end up.
Exactly. I love that.
And I think that's another really big important thing about art creation, is just doing it, basically not have an idea.
Right.
Like, I love realism work.
Yes, I do too.
It's amazing that people can do that.
Yes, to make it look like a photograph.
Yep. It's a lot of time.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time. I know I've done it several times.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get to a point where it just feels like I'm just working. I'm just trying to get this done.
Right.
And no longer feeling the same flow.
You know how when they make a grid on the paper and then they're working from a picture, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I looked at that one time, I thought, ooh, it's just like, I can't. I just feel like I don't know, like it pushed me away, you know, because I thought, I can't do that. And nor did I really want to do it that way. It felt very, I don't know, very unusual or very icky to me. I don't know, I can't explain it. But it was like, I thought, this is not for me, you know?
Yeah, I understand that.
And I thought,
But sometimes people do find that.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just the fact that they can make something so real that people question if it's actually a picture.
Yes.
Sometimes just knowing someone's thinking that way.
It's amazing.
It gets people going. They're like, yeah, let me make this just to prove that I can.
Right. Right.
Well,
Well,
here we are.
I don't want to say goodbye.
You don't want to say
No,
goodbye?
I've had such a great time.
No worries. Well, we'll still be here for a little bit.
Okay.
But either way, so
You'll be back.
I'll be back, yes. But, so what's your name?
Katie McLean.
Katie McLean. And that's your art?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
What you think about mine?
I love it. I love it. You know what? I love, at first I thought I saw a dragon, but then it morphed into something different. I love it.
Yep. All sorts of weird stuff today.
Mm-hmm.
But how, if people want to see more of you, how can they get in contact, or how they want to?
Well, you could email KatieH1158 at AOL.com.
AOL.
I'm still an AOLer. I do have some Gmail. I'm not that bad, but yeah.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
You're welcome.
And, well, till next time. Until.
Yes, till next time.
All right. Well, stay beautiful.
Thank you.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.